Hello and welcome to my channel. Some of you might know me from TikTok, and for those who don't, let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Surali and I started creating content a few years ago. For a half a year now, I think, I've been making Marauders content and I want to continue that here on YouTube. On TikTok, I'll do more character acting, especially as Sirius Black, but that won't be the focus here. Instead, we'll talk about their Hogwarts years, their experience, we'll explore their backgrounds and analyze every character in depth. And now, enjoy the video. The Marauders were close-knit Gryffindors who enjoyed of sneaking around and caused any sort of mischief. They discovered more about Hogwarts and its grounds than any other student. They immortalized their knowledge in the Marauders map. Despite all the trouble they caused, James Potter, Sirius Black and Remus Lupin left Hogwarts with excellent grades. Peter Pettigrew probably just barely passed the exam. They were always loyal to their friends and risked everything for each other. The Marauders were in the same year and they had a kind of rivalry with Severus Snape. In their second year, the Marauders discovered Remus Lupin's secrets when they one night found him in his werewolf form in the Forbidden Forest. The Marauders were in the forest because they were curious and adventurous. They often sneaked out of the castle to explore the grounds and cause mischief. They're the Marauders, right? On a particular evening, they wanted to find out what was going on in the Forbidden Forest, as it was a place surrounded by rumors and secrets. They didn't know that Remus Lupin was in the process of transforming into a werewolf. It was by chance that they discovered him in this transformation. After seeing him as a werewolf, they decided not to betray him. Instead, they decided to become animagi to help him, knowing that he has no control over himself during a full moon. This discovery led to their decision to accompany Remus during his transformations and help him and support him so he wouldn't feel alone and helpless. James became a stag, Sirius became a large black dog, and Peter became a rat. After their years in Hogwarts, after their time in Hogwarts, all four Marauders joined the Order of Phoenix. After the end of the Second Wizarding War, Peter Pettigrew had gone into hiding, James Potter was dead, Sirius Black was in Azkaban, and Remus Lupin was likely left alone and sad, having lost his three best friends. It's possible that he regularly wrote letters to Albus Dumbledore as he became Harry Potter's teacher in Harry's third year. Before Harry's fifth year, Sirius, who has escaped from Azkaban, and Remus joined the Second Order of Phoenix to fight once again against Voldemort and his followers. Sirius fell in the Battle of the Department of Mysteries, Remus in the Battle of Hogwarts. Peter was strangled by his own silver hand. Now all of the Marauders were dead. So, I hope everything has been brought back to mind because now we're moving on. Let's talk about the Marauders and their time at Hogwarts. Sirius Black, also known as Padfoot or Snuffles, was a pure-blood wizard. He was the godfather of Harry Potter, the son of his best friend, James Potter. Sirius Black was the son of Orion and Wolfburger Black, as well as the older brother of Regulus Arcturus Black. Although Sirius was the heir of House of Black, he opposed his family's belief in blood purity and he broke with traditions when he was sorted into Gryffindor instead of Slytherin at Hogwarts. As his relationship to his relatives deteriorated, he formed a close friendship to James Potter, Remus Lupin and Peter Pettigrew. Sirius did not have a happy childhood, but... Fine. I'll close the window. Sirius did not have a happy childhood. By the time he reached adolescence, he felt nothing but hatred for most of his relatives. He therefore greatly enjoyed the life at Hogwarts, where he was inseparable from his friends James Potter, Remus Lupin and Peter Pettigrew. The four friends called themselves the Marauders and used the nicknames Padfoot, Prongs and Wormtail, each derived from their animagus form, and Moony, which came from Lupin's werewolf condition. At the age... Oh, what's that? My neighbors are waving me. I'll have to film that later. I had to change the room because my parents just came back. At the age of 16, Sirius finally broke away from his family and ran away to live with James Potter and his parents. The Potters took Sirius in like a second son. But outraged by his departure, Walburga Black blasted his name off the family tapestry, as she did with anyone who refused to conform to the family's racist ideology. Sorry, I forgot the light. Okay. Sirius' uncle, Alfred Black, Walburga's brother, left his nephew a considerable inheritance. Thanks to this generous gift, Sirius was financially independent and was able to move into his own apartment at the age of 17 when he came of age. As a teenager, Sirius was a very handsome young man with facial features, black, long, curled hair that casually fell to his grey eyes, and a gait of relaxed grace and springy steps. Outrageously good looking as he was, Sirius was admired by many girls, which was probably one of the reasons he often came across as slightly arrogant. Now let's talk about James Potter. My light just turned off. What is happening? Fine. Okay, got it now. James Potter, also known as Prongs, was a pureblood wizard and animagus, the husband of Lily Evans and the father of Harry Potter. He also was the only son of Fleeman and Euphemia Potter. He attended Hogwarts at 1971 to 1978 and he was sorted into Gryffindor. He and his friends were the creators of the Marauders map. He also was the longtime owner of the third Deathly Hallow, the Invisibility Cloak, which was passed down to Harry, his son, after his death. James met Lily Evans on their first journey to Hogwarts. They sat together with Sirius and Severus in the same compartment, and James overheard Severus telling Lily that she should idly be sorted into Slytherin. James replied that he would rather leave than be sorted into Slytherin. Sirius supported him and humiliated Severus, which angered Lily, and she subsequently left the compartment with Snape. Even at Hogwarts, James and Sirius were best friends. With Peter and Remus, they humiliated Severus, who was friends with Lily at the time. In his 5th year, James fell in love with her and he asked her out at every opportunity and tried to impress her, but Lily was not interested in dating him. Lily was very displeased by the behavior of the poor friends, especially James' boastful attitude, but that changed when Snape called her mudblood one day. The 4 friends, Sirius, James, Peter and Remus, knew almost all the secret passages in Hogwarts and therefore created the Marauders map, which they signed with their nicknames derived by their animagus forms: Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot and Prongs. By the age of 17, James had finally matured and became less arrogant. He and Lily were appointed as head boy and head girl, which inevitably brought them closer. Lily went on a few dates with James and then fell in love with him. By their 7th year, they became a couple which hurt Snape even more and fueled his hatred and jealousy towards Sirius, but especially towards James. James in turn probably suspected that Snape, like him, might be in love with Lily, which could explain his unfair behavior towards Snape. Being honest, I never talked so much. Cheers. Remus John Lupin, also known as Moony, was a half-blood wizard and the only son of Lyle and Hope Lupin, husband of Nymphadora Tonks and father of Edward Ted Tonks. No, Edward Ted Lupin, I'm sorry. Remus attended Hogwarts and was sorted into the House Gryffindor. He became close friends with his fellow Gryffindors Sirius Black, James Potter and Peter Pettigrew. Remus kept his status as a werewolf a secret from all the students at Hogwarts, including his friends, and he came up with stories for his monthly disappearances, claiming, for example, that his mother was ill and he had to go home to visit her. He feared they would abandon him if they knew the truth, what he really was. However, when James, Sirius and Peter discovered the truth, they accepted Remus, and at only 12 years old, they decided to learn how to become an animagi in order to accompany him during his transformation.
since a werewolf only poses a threat to humans. Remus was a good student, but also a mischief maker. He and Peter would sometimes accompany Sirius and James during the detention for trouble they caused, even though they didn't get into as much trouble as their other friends. It's unlikely that any other Hogwarts students ever discovered as much about Hogwarts or Hogsmeade as they did, and Sirius, James, Remus and Peter used their knowledge to create the Marauders map, signing it with their nicknames. Unfortunately, the map somehow ended up in the hands of Argus Filch, who confiscated it. But it was eventually recovered by Fred and George Weasley in the 1989 to 1990 school year. Last person, Peter Pettigrew. Peter Pettigrew, also known as Wormtail. He's a traitor. We all know that. The only thing I found out about his parents was his mother was a witch and his father's blood status was unknown. I don't know more about that. During Peter's sorting, the sorting hat hesitated between placing him in Slytherin or in Gryffindor. After more than 5 minutes of consideration, making Pettigrew a headstall, the hat ultimately decided on Gryffindor. He soon became good friends with James, Sirius and Remus, all fellow Gryffindors whom he admired for their popularity and talent. Peter also took a part in James and Sirius' bullying of Severus. According to Minerva McGonagall, he was never truly gifted and clung to the coattails of the more intelligent students like James, Sirius or Remus. Without their help, he would never have become an Animagus. She describes them as a friend group during their time in Hogwarts as a rather wild bunch. It's so dark. Wow.
So, that's it from me for today. We've taken a closer look at the Marauders and gone through their story in broad strokes. Well, whose story interests you the most and what would you like to know more about? I have to think about that myself, but I'm confident we're far from done here. Wishing you a magical day and see you next time. Mischief managed.